I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I was not going to make a recap today because it's Easter. I was going to spend the day with my family, but baseball had other ideas in mind. I'm recording this at 4 a.m. because so much happened in yesterday's slate of games. Bryce Harper, he was putting his body on the line to try and catch a foul ball. Juan Soto, this guy is a complete game changer for the Yankees, and he did it again versus the Astros. The Angels, they got the break speed off them again. There was a scrummage between the Rays and the Jays. It should have never happened, but it did. And Yamamoto, he finally looked like a guy who's worthy of $300+ million. All of that in today's MLB recap. And if you guys could do me a quick favor, because it is so early, I'm grinding, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Let's try and get to 500,000. Also, don't forget to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek for 20 bucks off your tickets, and use code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy for a $100 deposit match. Now, before we talk about the highlights from yesterday, a few health updates across baseball. Justin Steele, he did in fact injure that hammy. He's going to be missing quite some time. And DJ LeMahieu, he has a fractured foot. I thought that he was doing better, but that's what the Yankees do. They kind of underplay injuries, and then it just comes out that it's not really the case. It's worse than what we thought. Look at Paul Skeens dominating in his AAA debut. He had 4 strikeouts, threw 100 miles an hour 7 times without allowing a single base runner over 2 frames. So the biggest thing with Paul Skeens, he's trying to work up his professional workload. He only has like 60 innings under his belt in the minors. So Paul Skeens, in addition with Jared Jones, who we'll talk about later, Mitch Keller, the Pirates rotation could be disgusting pretty soon. Let's get into the highlights because we all have a lot to do today, so let's get this recap done. Mitch Haniger being back in Seattle means that the world is healing. I think that's how it works, right? He went up the middle for the game's only run for a while because Cutter Crawford and Logan Gilbert, they were cooking on the mound. They each allowed just 1 run. Cutter's was unearned, by the way, so technically he went 6 shutout, but he didn't have a shutout. He ended up with 7 strikeouts after 6 innings. Logan had 8 strikeouts on just 4 base hits over 7. That's as efficient as it gets. Both guys, they left without a lead, so it's going to be up to the bullpen. Nothing happened until the 10th inning when 2 Boston singles put the Red Sox out in front. Pablo Reyes and Masataka Yoshida, they grabbed those 2 runs, and things were not looking too great for the Mariners until Luke Raley went straight MLB The Show on the Red Sox, a bloop RBI over the third baseman. He later scored on a close play at home. People just forget how fast Luke Raley is because he's a big guy. No, he can absolutely fly. J-Rod, he stepped in with a chance to win it, and he does it. Kenley Jansen apparently wasn't available because of a sore back, and Boston fans, they kind of lit him up on social media, basically saying that he's soft, or if he's hurt, go on the IL. Stop calling out the team when you're part of the problem, because a few weeks ago, I think Kenley Jansen said that he signed up for a competing team, not a rebuild. 24 hours after Jeff McNeil and Rhys Hoskins had their little exchange, they were back at it. Willy Adames, he laced a double down the line, and of course, Rhys Hoskins, he did his thing all day long. He was not done with those 2 RBIs. Wait on it, because real quick, I gotta show the home run from El Troll. That's his nickname, by the way. Francisco Alvarez had 25 last year. Can he get to 30 this year? We know that Rhys Hoskins can hit 30 because he's done that twice already in his career, and I'm shocked that he did not pull a Harper and stare down Jeff McNeil as he was rounding second base. Francisco Alvarez, he drove in another, and there's Hoskins scoring again, this time on a balk. The Mets were out of sorts all day long. Severino, speaking of out of sorts, 12 hits, 6 earned runs in his Mets debut. That is not going to cut it. Christian Yelich's RBI single in the 8th is going to put this game way out of reach because there's no way that Brett Beatty goes lefty. Au contraire, says Brett Beatty. This 100% has to unlock prime Beatty, right? Like, it has to. Pete Alonso then donated $1,000 to animal shelters because if you guys don't remember, every home run that Pete hits, he's going to be donating $1,000 to animal shelters. This was a super fun ending as Abner Uribe, he went full Edwin Diaz. He shushed at the Mets dugout, and we know that Edwin Diaz has done that before. Also, after that game, something weird happened. A prospect for the Mets, and actually someone who played for the Mets last year in 2023, Mark Vientos, he was not happy about being optioned to AAA. He went on Instagram and he started liking posts about Rhys Hoskins owning the Mets, and then another Met, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s little brother, Luis Angel Acuna, he liked the same post. Why are Mets prospects liking posts of the Mets getting owned? I don't understand that. That's not a good sign. Let's go to another game that the winning team just barely held on for a 1-run victory. Yoshinobu, he's trying to prove that he is worth $300+ million because he didn't look like that in his first start down in Seoul versus the Padres. He struck out the side in the first, and LA, they got 3 straight singles from their 3-headed monster, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, but Lance Lynn, he clutched all the way up and struck out the next 3 hitters that he faced, so no damage done. Both Lynn and Yamamoto, their days were cut short due to rain, but they combined for 9 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts. Yoshinobu, he had 2 base hits on 68 pitches, 5 shutout innings. He was actually in line for the win after Freddie brought in Mookie Betts, and Will Smith made it 2-0. But here comes the Cardinals. They scored 5 in the 7th because Joe Kelly completely forgot that his job is to get outs, not allow runs. A balk gave the Redbirds a lead, which was extended like 2 seconds later after Brendan Donovan smoked a 2-run double down the line. So LA is down by 3 when Will Smith grabbed another RBI single and Mookie hit his 4th home run in as many games. He's already at 1 F4, so he's leading the league in F4, home runs, and DRS as a shortstop. So he's getting it done no matter how you slice it. Muncy, he had a duck on a pond with 2 strikes, 2 outs, and there it is. Extras we go. Goldie, he brought home the speedy Victor Scott. They go back up 1, and the Dodgers, they were not going to go away quietly. The bases were loaded for Shohei Ohtani, and the dude dropped his PCI on a fastball down the middle. Angels fans were over the moon. They took to Twitter to basically say, see, Ohtani's good, but not when it matters the most. We'll talk about the Angels in just a second, but let's talk about this Yankees and Astros game. Marcus Stroman looked pretty good in the first inning, and he ran into some trouble immediately after in the second. Jeremy Pena, he flew down the line to avoid a double play, which set up a massive 2-run double for Mauricio Dubon that was just over the outstretched glove of Juan Soto. Now the Yankees, they got on the board in the next half inning thanks to an error, but Houston got that run back on an error of their own, a lucky break. They get a free run. Houston then brought in their buzzsaw of a pitcher, Brian Abreu. He has been nearly untouchable the last 2 or 3 years, but he walked Austin Wells after getting Wells to an 0-2 count. That's not good at all, and it's not good because Oswaldo has basically been Babe Ruth to start the year, and nothing changed in this one. He somehow had enough juice to muscle that baseball out, and then Juan Soto, he stepped in for a signature moment as a Yankee. I mean, if we're being real with ourselves, there's no way that Soto leaves the Yankees, right? He's about to get a blank check from Brian Cashman. Anthony Volpe added to their lead with a home run, and he for sure ate his Wheaties over the offseason. He did not skip a meal because he looks a lot beefier in a good way. He looks stronger. Clay Holmes now has 2 saves, and the Yankees, this team just feels different. Soto, Stroman, Verdugo, there's just a lot more, do I dare say, swag in this year's team. Dylan Cease was making his second start as a Padre, and after looking really good in the first, I believe he struck out 2 of the first 3 guys that he faced. The second was a different story. The command was all over the place. It looked like he was overcompensating. At least that's what I saw. Tyro Estrada, he lifted a sac fly, and Tom Murphy, he doubled in Michael Conforto. By the way, Conforto had a monster game. Stay tuned for that. San Francisco, they ended up with 3 through 5, while San Diego got put in a blender by starting pitcher Jordan Hicks. Yes, he is here. He has arrived. His sinker has so much run, and then he can break out the splitter every so often. It's like a splitter slider thing. Whatever it is, it's wild. 5 shutout frames, 6 strikeouts for Jordan Hicks, and it's crazy that the Cardinals just didn't want to try having Jordan Hicks as a starter. They could have used him. From one newcomer to another, the grandson of the win went yard. Jung Ho Lee is no joke, and his grandfather, the son of the win, was in attendance. That started a fat inning for the Giants. Wilmer Flores singled in Jorge Soler, and that ain't no single. I tried to tell you guys that Conforto had a big game. That is a grand slam. I love to see him raking after he had issues with the shoulder and his slow 2023 campaign. Now, the Padres did make the Giants fans sweat a little bit with Eggy Rosario blasting off, and Graham Pauley, look at him, he blasted off as well. That's 5 runs on 2 swings. That was Pauley's first ever MLB hit, by the way. Camilo Doval finally got the job done, but he was called out by the manager of the Padres, Bob Melvin, who basically said that his pacing is not going to work. He had 2 pitch clock violations in that inning. Again, that's not going to work for a closer. Listen, I know it's only 2 games, but the Angels might have to do some serious soul searching before it's too late. Gunnar Henderson and Ryan Mountcastle, they jumped the Halo starter Griffin Canning early on. Gunnar went 420 feet, and then Mountcastle, he slapped 2 different RBI doubles. Ward momentarily brought some good vibes to the Angels clubhouse, and now they're gone again because Austin Hayes, he ripped the band-aid off, and Baltimore, they started throwing haymakers left and right. Mullins, he found a hole for an RBI double. Jordan Westberg is one of 91 prospects battling for playing time. He played it 2, and so did Gunnar Henderson. He was a double away from the cycle in this game. He went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, the AL Rookie of the Year from last year. This next dude also had 3 RBIs, but they all came on 1 swing. Santander has 2 home runs and 7 RBIs over the last 2 games. Now, after the game, the reports are that Ron Washington, the manager of the Angels, called a meeting to basically say it's early, plenty of season left, but that can't really happen again. We got to get in gear. I might go spend my entire 401k on Ozzy Albies cards because this dude is going to have insane stats for a second baseman by the time it's all said and done. That's a 2-run home run, and he could honestly end up in the 400 double, 300 home run club as a second baseman, which is very rare. Oh, whoa, Bryce, are you good, bro? Bryce wasn't even close to making that play, but Thank God that he was all right. And look at this pitch. Max Fried was robbed of strike 3. He ended up walking Castellanos to walk in a run. And then my friend Bryson Stott chased Fried after a 2-run single to left field. He's so good at going the other way against lefties. Umpires, they've been atrocious the first few days. We're getting closer and closer to an electronic strike zone. Now, remember the saying, ball don't lie? Yeah, here it is live. d'Arnaud, he ripped the lead back, and it must be nice to have Travis d'Arnaud as a backup catcher. So if Murphy goes down, you have an insane catcher in d'Arnaud right behind him. Kelenic had a very nice night. He had 2 RBI singles, and that one right before Matt Olson sent one over the wall. The home run and RBI king from last year has 4 RBIs in the last 2 games, and like I said, Kelenic, he had a great game. He made it 7-3. Then he laid out for a sick grab to rob the 2-timer Bryce Harper. Now, I usually save web gems for the end, but it felt right to show it because Kelenic, he had a terrible spring, and I want to kind of support him. Realmuto socked his first home run, but that was the final highlight for Philly. There's another Ozzie Albies RBI. Marcell Ozuna, who was maybe the best hitter in the second half last year, had a 3-run home run. Do not let him get hot. Michael Harris had a home run, and then pretty much everyone who was a Phillies fan left. The Rangers got their World Series rings, but Dansby Swanson was playing Ring Around the Rosie, or the bases. All I'm trying to say is he hit a home run. But not to fear, Jared Walsh is here. A lot of people just forgot that Jared Walsh is now on the Rangers. He's been given a chance by the Rangers with Nathaniel Lowe out with an injury. And then Adolis Garcia El Bombe added the Rangers' second 2-run home run of the game. They had 3 total in this one, by the way, so again, stay tuned for that. Corey Seager, he brought in their 5th run, all for Cody Bradford, who settled down for 6 strikeouts over 5. That's what Texas needs until Scherzer and DeGrom are back towards the second half because they don't have a Jordan Montgomery to rely on this time around. Chicago called up one of their top prospects, Ben Brown, and after a nice 7th inning in his debut, Texas happened. Semien and Seager, they both singled in an RBI. A few more scored, and that set up this tank job for Josh Young, who has the talent to be a perennial all-star for years to come. 430 feet to make it double digits. It's not going to be easy to repeat, but damn, the Rangers, they're loaded. Look, I know it was against the A's, but you got to tip your cap to the changes that the Guardians have made over the last few months. Everyone looks 5 to 10 pounds heavier in a good way, like they've put on weight, just like Anthony Volpe put on some muscle. That's an RBI triple for Andres Gimenez. He was then knocked in by Gabriel Arias, and then there was some deja vu a few innings later because Arias, he singled again to bring home Andres Gimenez after Oakland actually went up by 1. From there, it was just kind of embarrassing for the A's. I won't show every single run, but Kwan had a big game. Austin Hedges, of all people, doubled in a run. He had a pretty nice series. Kwan, he went 425 feet. That's the longest home run of his entire career, and I'm telling you guys, everyone is beefier. They're taking hacks early in the count, and Cleveland ran it up to 12 after RBI base hits from J. Ram, David Fry, and the focus of the offseason from the hitting coach was body composition and hacking earlier. That's been key, and it's been showing. If we're talking about the Guardians, we got to talk about a former Guardian, and watch Ahmed Rosario become prime Sammy Sosa now that he's playing right field for the Rays. I mean, that's what Tampa Bay does. They did it with Randy, even though I would say Randy was pretty good for the Cardinals before he came on over. Randy kissed his bat before flipping it. He is so much fun to watch. Jose Caballero drove in 2 RBIs, one after Randy had another RBI on a sac fly, and another late in the 7th on a bunt single, which, yes, bunting still exists in the game of baseball. He's in the top 2 or 3% in sprint speed, so not only can he beat that out, he can get to 3rd after, no, he can't. Had to set this up. Definitely overreacted to Cabrera bumping into him, but you just can't do that if you're Cabrera. The bench is emptied for the 2nd consecutive day. The first one obviously was Hoskins versus McNeil, that little spat between those 2 guys. The Rays, they went easy. Also, by the way, Zach Littell, he threw 6 magnificent innings for the Rays. No runs on 4 hits, 6 strikeouts. I mean, it's pretty good. So we just saw a few 5-1 ball games. Let's talk about a few 7-6 contests. Now we head to the south side where Torkelson and newcomer Mark Canha, they made it 3-zip off of Michael Soroka. He had a really good spring, and I was hoping for a good first start, but not the case. The south side, they giveth and they take it the way because Luis Robert Jr. called in a 25 kill streak. That ball went 450 feet, and then the rookie Braden Shoemake, he found a barrel for his first big league home run, and no way. He did it again. Luis did it again. His 2nd multi-home run of the night. Chicago, they went up a few. The only problem is their pitching stinks. Now, before we show that, check out Parker Meadows, Akil Baddoo. His days in Detroit are all but done because Parker is going to be manning the outfield. Same with Riley Green. Mark Canha is going to be in left field or a DH. And then you're going to have a guy like Kerry Carpenter in right field. So, again, the bad man, he's probably done. Speaking of Mark Canha, he belted his first as a Tiger, and they have a really fun pizza celebration. But apparently, Riley Green wanted a meat lover's pizza, and there it is. There's a meatball for a home run. Detroit, they're still down by 1, and obviously, yes, I'm setting up a comeback. Carson Kelly, he ties it on an RBI single, which led to extra innings where Carson completed the comeback. back. Canna scores his 3rd run of the day, and fellow newcomer for the Tigers, Shelby Miller, he put the Sox in the dryer and he left it on too long, and the heat was up, so the White Sox, they shrunk. Ooh, another close 7-6 ball game. This time it's the Nationals at the Reds, and look at Jesse Winker trying to bounce back. He's not known for his defense, but I mean, that was an absolute seed to end the 2nd inning. Hunter Green, he was throwing seeds on the mound. He racked up strikeout after strikeout, and I don't even know how he allows runs, but his command can sometimes be an issue. He throws like 115 miles an hour, it seems like. The score stayed knotted up into the 4th inning when Keibert Ruiz, he was blessed by Ellie just straight missing a catch. Jesse Winker, he flew home to score, and he looks really healthy and ready for a big 2024. Talking about Jesse Winker, Jamier ran into a ball for his first home run as a Red, and after Washington momentarily went up again, Maley, he dealt his Uno reverse card. He said, "Give me the lead back." Jonathan India, he made sure to drive in an extra insurance run. They're now up by 2. Okay, never mind, because CJ Abrams, he was flying all over the bases. He had 3 stolen bases in this one, scores on a wild pitch. Keibert, he ties it at 4. He wants to show that he can be a leader because he was kind of questioned last year on his effort. Maybe it all clicks this year. Nick Martini, he wanted to play spoiler again, this time a 2-run clutch double, making Great American go crazy, but Cincinnati, they just didn't have the pitching to get it done. Winker, he drove in CJ. Keibert got hit by a pitch. Rosario had a sac fly. I mean, that's just a brutal way to lose if you're a Reds fan, because they need every win early, considering McLean's out, Friedel's out, Marte's out. Every win that they get is going to feel like 5. Arizona got a taste of their own medicine in this one, but that wasn't before Lourdes jumped on a pitch for another RBI extra base hit. He looks locked in to begin the season. The Snakes went up 2 after a Moreno sac fly, and that pretty much started a fun back and forth between both teams. Ezekiel Tovar, his home run tied it, and he just got paid, so he's going to be playing kind of stress-free over the next few years. Eugenio Suarez, he mashed his way back into giving his team the lead. Psych, Chuck Nasty, not a home run, but that 2-run double gives Colorado a 1-run lead, and then my friend Nolan Jones ripped a huge 2-run triple. If you want to hit triples, go to Arizona, go to San Francisco. Nolan, he's looking to prove that he's not just a one-year wonder. Lourdes, he just made some history. He's the first Snake ever with a home run in the first 3 games of a season. Now, it didn't really mean much at the end of the day, but it's still a fun fact nonetheless. Brenton Doyle, he's got some crazy tools. He has an elite glove, arm, speed, and he can also do that from time to time. He goes yard. Colorado, they will not be going 0-162. Pittsburgh better send the Royals an edible arrangement or something for giving them Edward Olivares for basically free. His RBI single gave the Pirates an early lead, in both Connor Joe and Cabrian Hayes, they stayed hot with the bat. It's 3-0 Pittsburgh, but Miami, they did claw their way back into it momentarily, but then this happened. You're not going to catch O'Neal Cruz, who's basically a velociraptor in cleats. The ball gets away, and Jared Triolo, he ends up scoring. The Pirates, they kept teeing off, but I can't show those clips just yet because right now we got to show off Jared Jones. The rookie was making his big league debut. He struck out 10 Marlins. Now, he did allow a few runs, but 10 strikeouts in your debut, that is disgusting. So when you can go Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, that is a sick 1-3 rotation. Jones, again, he was sick in spring, so he's clearly the real deal. Sawinski, he singled in their 6th run. Pittsburgh, they ended up with 9 after an RBI double from Connor Joe. There's a 2-run double from Brian Reynolds. The Pirates, they're 3-0. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's recap. If you did, do me a favor, help out the channel, leave a like, and if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. Happy Easter to all who celebrate, and enjoy the web gems.
Against left-handers.
1-2, that's hard towards center field. Watching it back and on the warning track, leaping up to grab it.
So hitters are excited when this roof's closed.
Hot shot to short, sliding stab. Story thrown across the diamond, the scoop, and yes!
High chopper, Clements got it. Long throw, they got it.
Grounded to third. Garcia stumbles as he gets to his feet, and it's in time.
Soft liner to his right. C.J. Abrams.
And the 2-1. And Bader to left field, turning Yelich around. It's over his head and off the wall. Yelich fires into second base. Bader trying to get there. The throw is high. The tag. Going the other way. A diving stop by Jimenez. Oh, the Platinum Glove winner.
Into right field. Rosario will go back and leap to make the catch.
Hendricks a 1-0. In the air. Right field, Suzuki charging, sliding, and he makes the catch. What a